What up, YouTube? This is FBell, and today I bring my first endgame build guide for the Infernalist Witch. This build will shred all the bosses in the game, clear maps and everything. The only downside to this build is the minion AI and their greatest weakness, doors, bridges, small bridges, and small corridors. Anyways. Aside from that, the build will easily clear the whole game from you. That is the only difficulty you ever have. On the next video, I will bring a witch leveling up guide, and after that, a new secondized farm idea I got from the community. Now, without wasting any more time, let's go! So, as you've already seen the gameplay, I'm gonna start here explaining the gear, because there are a few changes that I make in the gear from time to time, and that's very important in the build. First of all, I'm using two weapon sets. The first is a scepter. On the scepters, focus on the discipline skill, as we have no need for malice because we have Eye of Winter to give crit weakness. The scepter must have plus to level of all minion skills and increased spirit. These two are a very strong base for damage. Then, allies in your princes deal increased damage, attack speed, and crit hit chance. Crit bonus damage also works here. On the first set of weapons, I use Oaksworn Shield because it gives me block, which is very good in this game, and plus 50 to spirit as well as chaos resist. While mapping, this is my set of weapons. When I'm to kill bosses, I change the shield for the Trench Timber. I don't know how to speak this, whatevs. Because this gives plus 3 to level up all minion skills, and that's a whole lot of damage. When I'm gonna fight a boss, I change my weapon set to Trench Timber, so I take off the shield and put this. You can do this manually or by using two scepters. I had two scepters, so I'm using that, so I just press X and change, but you don't have to do that. You can just change weapons. And you can put soul cores here to give more spirits. If I'm not wrong, it's the soul core of Askapa. That's pretty much it for the weapons. The boots are the bones of Ur, which reduce the minion cost. Reduced reservation means the minions will cost less spirit, and that's why I use it. So on my build, because I have 540 spirit, when I use these boots, it means like 5 more minions. But when I'm mapping, they're very slow, so I change them for boots with movement speed. If you want to be stronger while mapping, just use these boots. If that annoys you and you want more move speed, then change the boots. On gloves, look for gloves that gives you a lot of energy shield. Get the rarity in there, but that's for farming, which is very important. And max life, that's what you want here. Helmets, pretty much the same thing, but helmets have plus 2 to all minion skills. Huge part of your damage, focus on that. You can get it corrupted with spirit, granting you more spirit. I don't have it and it's hard to get, but you can. I have intelligence here because you gotta get some extra intelligence somewhere to use the skeletal Reavers on level 20. Body armor can give you a lot of energy shield as well. That's what we want here. Important to get this extra spirit from it. I put a max roll here. It doesn't have to be like 40 or 50. It's pretty much good. Some resistances and intelligence. About the resistances on this build, elemental resistance we get from Ventors Gamble. This is the most expensive part of the build. The Ventors Gamble and the ingenuity belt. The ingenuity belt makes it so it can practically double the effects of the ring. So it gives 20 spirits that'll go for 40, a bit less because it's 80%, but it gives rarity and elemental resistance. This part of this build is very expensive. It's not cheap. That's why I showed you guys here another option. You can get rings with resistances, rarity that it doesn't have here. Let me put it. I put only 30% on one roll. Rings can have up to 64 rarity on a suffix and a prefix and a suffix. So you can have this on your build. That's how I farmed everything I have on my build right now. It doesn't have to be the Ventors Gamble and Ingenuity, but it makes a hell lot stronger. So that's the items I suggest. When you're buying these items, you gotta check the rolls for them. They make a huge difference. Ingenuity drops from the audience with the king, the boss king of the mist. That's why it's so expensive, and it depends a lot on the roll, and it's not a sure shot drop. Ventors Gamble, as far as I know, can drop anywhere, but the rolls are pretty much high. A lot of people like to buy bad ones and vow it, so maybe the rolls will be good. Amulet's gotta be the solar amulet that gives you some spirit, then you gotta have more spirit on it, and you're gonna look for energy shield, max life, rarity of course, and plus to minion skills. Plus 3 is very expensive as well, but a plus 2 will get the job done. And I put plus 24 for attributes. If you get that, it's cool. There's also plus to all elemental resistances. That's pretty much good, but it's not a must-have. This ring, this amulet as it's here, it's freaking expensive. It doesn't have to be that. And then here I put a set for leveling up. So for leveling up, you can use 2 uniques that the sets have because their level requirement is very low, the shield and the boots. You can use Enfolding Dawn to get more spirit and get your minions going. And then the rest, some stats that it's what you should focus while leveling up. But I will release a full leveling up, leveling up guide in future, so I'm not gonna be very stuck here. Let's see the skill gems. So I'm gonna start with the Reaver and Snipers because they are our source of damage. The Reavers, to make them deal damage, I put Bloodlust, Heavy Swing, Brutality, Martial Tempo, and Heft. Everything with more physical damage and more attack speed to make him deal the max damage. The reason why I use Reavers is because their enraged skill, which gives them rage, increasing attack speed and damage, makes them their damage scale very high. And I did not see the sniper deal that kind of damage. Even if you put like 29 snipers, the Reaver's damage is very high, but they have a weakness. Once they surround the boss, you will see up to 6 to 10 Reavers can hit the boss depending on the boss size. The rest of them will stay in line waiting to hit the boss. So if you want to kill a boss, they won't deal as much damage. As the snipers are ranged, all of them will hit. That's why I have only 8 Reavers and the rest of them are snipers. So on the snipers, I have Feeding Frenzy, Physical Mastery, Chaos Mastery, Immolate, and Fire Infusion. While I'm mapping, I put Scatter Shot on them so I can get more area damage and clear the map faster. Then when I find a boss, a pinnacle boss, not normal mapping bosses, then I put Chaos Mastery back, and that's it. Infernal Hound will deal Lacerate. Why do we need this? Because we have Bloodlust. And Bleeding Enemies makes our Reavers hit 30% more. Splinter to break enemy armor. Wildfire to spread Ignite. Also our snipers need Ignite because they deal 30% of damage as extra fire damage against ignited enemies. Fire Mastery and Minion Mastery. I have a Skeletal Stormmaid just to deal shock. So he has Conduction, Stormfire so the shocks never expire, Overcharge to increase the magnitude. This makes it go to 35% more damage instead of the default 20 of the shock. Lightning Mastery because of, yeah. And Lightning Penetration because yeah. I have 1 or 2 Cleric, always just to keep my minions alive and resurrect these Reavers that die when they enrage, when they finish enraging. Pain Offering to increase their damage, all minion damage, with Persistence, Ablation, Font of Rage, and Dance Macabre. Macabre. I don't know. Eye of Winter to give us crit vulnerability. With Unleash, it makes cats free of them, and that makes it stack the max, that is 10% of crit vulnerability on bosses really fast. Pierce to cast it on mobs so you kill faster. I honestly don't do that much, I don't need it. You can't kill most maps, everything in most maps without this. Flame Wall so we can summon Raging Spirits. The Flame Wall has only Fortress and Arcane Tempo so we can cast faster. I don't like to use Spell Cascade on Flame Wall because I can't see jack ass on the maps. So I think it's a lot of visual pollution. And I really kinda sometimes don't want to use Fortress, I just want to cast the normal firewalls. But Fortress increases the area, allowing us to summon 5 Raging Spirits, so I use it. The Raging Spirits have Fire Exposure and Strip Away to increase the maximum exposure and let them deal fire damage. Execute to execute enemies in low life, making things faster, and Elemental Focus to increase their damage. Execute is quite useful here because when you use them on maps, they spread out and they hit a lot of enemies. You know, they're not like the melee minions that need to go to the enemy, and sometimes there's a bridge or there's a river or something that they can't go through. So they go through these areas quite well and can deal some nice damage in an area. Green Feast for obvious reasons of defense. So our skill rotation is, you enrage the minions, try to do this before the boss can be hit, so they have some time to stack the rage. Pain Offering, Eye of Winter, Flame Wall, and just hit them. You can use Gas Arrow on this one. I'm gonna put snipers here just so you guys know that you can keep Gas Arrowing the boss as well, but honestly I usually don't need it and there's not much mana for that. So this is the basic skill rotation. So in the passive tree, the first things you go for is Deadly Swarm, Reduce Reservation from Restless Dead, and Lord of Horror. These are the first ones you go for. Then get some Energy Shield and come all the way here to make your minions tankier and deal more damage. After that, you start to spread out and get the other minion nodes. These are your priority to make them deal damage and survive, because this is a minion build. Without them, you're nothing. And then you start to get the defenses, the energy shield ones. And this honestly is the last thing you're gonna get, okay? This is also an important minion node. But that's it, no big secret here, and I will talk more about this passive tree on the leveling guide. Now I want to talk about jewels. So in jewels here, we have two important jewels. First one is Against the Darkness, Time Lost Diamond. This is an exclusive drop from the boss of Trial Sekima's Zarok the Temporal, I think that's his name. And it grants us 1% max life and 12% max spirits. The spirits can go from 8 to 12, and this item is very hard to find and very expensive. I was lucky to get one to drop for me, but not everyone is. So when you have the currency for it, or if you drop one of these, use it. And I like to use in this position because I get spirits per notable passive skills. These skills are these bigger ones right here. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. That's almost 70 spirits plus. And I get 1% max life for each of these smaller ones. You can see that these nodes say 1% max life. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a lot more than I thought. 13, 14, 15, 16% plus life. So it's very good. This jewel makes a huge difference, but it's expensive. So why you don't have it, look for sapphires with +2 energy shield. Minion increased damage, minion attack and cast speed, and crit hit chance for minions, of course. Crit hits can be crit hit chance or crit damage, bonus damage. Either one of them will be very good for you. But these are the jewels that you'll be looking for in this build. Some notes that I put here that are important: remember to change boots on bosses. Bones of Ur are very important on bosses to deal max damage. You do not need this maxed out build to deal damage and farm the whole game. You can farm the whole game. Minions are very strong. They have very nice damage, which makes up for them being slow. So you can farm the whole game with this build, and it doesn't have to be maxed out. I farmed Sekimas with this build. I farmed Breaches with this build. I farmed a lot of stuff with this build, and it worked. This build is also very easy to play. Just remember, minion builds are kind of slow, and minion AIs is just pure. They're gonna fix it. Let's say that. GGG is gonna do something about it. Although now minions teleport to us after bridges and doors and stuff, and that already makes it better to play with them. That's already one upgrade. The most expensive items and the last ones you should go for are definitely Ventors, Gamble, and Ingenuity. These are very expensive. Ingenuity and these Ventors Gamble with good rolls can go up to 20, 50, 80 divines. It's a crazy price, and you have to farm a lot to get them. I've been farming the Trial of Sekimas, that's why I've made videos about it. But you can farm other stuff that are as well effective. A lot of people love to farm breaches and delirium. They are effective as well. I will make videos about it. But get everything, and for last, get these 3 items. Also, be sure to not get ingenuity first, because ingenuity buffs your rings, so you gotta have at least one of these to make it, you know, effective. That's it, my people. This is my first build guide. Next up, I'll walk up to my leveling guide. I hope you guys like it. I hope to see your feedback on this video. If you tried the build, if you tried it to use it as a base and change something, talk to me about it. If you have suggestions, ideas about this build or videos, or anything I said wrong on this video, it happens, tell me. I'm here, I'm listening, and I'll see you all later.